napping and might wake up.
There we go. We are now recording. Let's see. We can start off and we can have people join in as they come. Let me share my screen. You see my screen?
Yeah.
Awesome. Great. All right, let's get started. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining today. We're covering some government policy changes that are impacting the childcare industry in 2023. We're going to do a quick little introduction and then we can jump right into it. Awesome. So, like I said, we're talking about government policy today. And at the end of the session, I'm going to be doing a quick demo of Playground for those of you who might not know what Playground is. And I'm going to quickly give it an overview right now, just so we can cover that to start. Awesome. So I'm Benny. I work here at Playground. I'm head of community. My goal is to, make these awesome events and resources for the early childhood education community to help you guys, do your job even better, stay up to date with everything in the field. If you have any ideas at any point in time that you want, to learn about a session you want to run, please reach out to me. I'll shoot my email into the chat box. Wonderful. So I'm with Playground. For those of you who don't know, we're a childcare management software company. Our goal is to make technology that makes your life as an admin and a director easier. We do everything from enrolling new families, building those families, communication with those families, activity tracking, spend management, assessments, everything you need to do in your center. We help you do it with smart technology. So using Playground, you're able to replace a ton of different softwares, from your WhatsApp group chats to Venmo to DocuSign, Google Forms, other softwares. The idea is using just Playground, you'll be able to cover all your grounds. Here's just a couple of things we offer. We have an admin dashboard for you to kind of overview of your center. We have chat with your families where you can message people, teachers, stay up to date with those families. Documents where you can send them out to your families and collect these documents within Playground. You can manage your enrollment, get new families to apply, get them accepted, send them out packages. Custom reporting for licensing, where you can, run attendance reports, food reports, payment reports, everything you need to do in one place. We also are releasing this new feature soon on spend management, where you can issue cards to your staff and have them spend on your cards, see what they're spending their money on. The idea is it's going to give you a complete picture of your financial image in your center. You're going to know how much money is coming in, how much money is going out. And that's just the start. There's a lot more we're working on here at Playground. But without further ado, let's get into the session. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and hand it off to Tamar. I'll give her a quick intro. Dr. Tamar Andrews, the lady you guys may be seeing in your corner, I'm seeing her in my corner. She's very well known in the childhood space. She's taught courses on early childhood for many years, had her own childhood center, which she currently is the director of, has spoken at over 400 conferences, and has helped open child care centers across the world, including the United States, China, all over the world. So she's really well known in the space, has a lot of knowledge to share, and she's going to help us out with today's session. So without further ado, Tamar, on to you.
Hi, everybody. First of all, I'm gonna kind of watch the chat. So for those of you not driving, if you have any questions during this and you want to ask any questions, feel free to do so. I'm going to go into some technical stuff. I also saw the list of who had signed up ahead of time, and I'm going to try and cover most of your states. But if I don't, you're going to see my email address, my cell phone number. You're more than welcome to reach out to me. So first, from a global perspective, in the space of childcare, we were all really excited about the Build Back Better Act. It was introduced by Joe Biden's people, and the intention was part of the American Jobs program, which was an infrastructure investment program. There was one person, Manchin, who ultimately rejected most of the bill over the way in which the bill was actually tried to be enacted. And negotiations between him and the Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer eventually resulted in the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022, some of which has been incorporated into the Build Back Better, but it ultimately passed with approximately $200 billion in child tax and earned income tax credits and 400 billion for childcare and preschools, which many of us, I'm sitting here in the office of my childcare center as well. I don't own it. I'm the director of a large one, which we started to see some of that as well. So let me start sharing my screen here with you all. Let's start, and I'm going to go into my slideshow. Whoops, slideshow. Oh, whoops, slideshow from the start. There we go. So there you have my name, my email address, and my cell phone number. Again, it's on the recording. Feel free to reach out for almost anything that you'd like. So first of all, there are 2 links here. I'm not going to link into them because I don't want to waste your time. If you're interested, you can do this. But these are basically 2 different interactive websites that can tell you, number one, where childcare is in your particular state and where policy is going in your particular state. I was actually kind of pleased as I was looking through this, especially some of your states, Tennessee, which I'm very partial to. My husband is from Tennessee, and some others, that child poverty is actually going down in some of these states, which is great for the kids, not so great for those of us in childcare, because it means that we have less of an argument to get money for our program. So I'm going to start with California. Again, if at any time I'm going too fast, just stop me. So California, first of all, cannabis use, that's a big one, because you are no longer allowed to discriminate starting in January of 2024, but this is to give us time against anybody who engages in cannabis use, including those of us that work in childcare. You're not allowed to discriminate against people who use it recreationally. But beginning this January, in just a few weeks, we won't be able to discriminate against anybody based on their reproductive health decision making. So if you have a person who's trying to apply for a job and they say, I'm going to be going for a lot of IVF treatments, you are not allowed to discriminate against the way in which they are going to be going about having a child. And so again, you can go through this again, but it's important. One of the things that I'm also going to go state by state, but I want to give an overview of, is minimum wage reporting requirements. So there are some states that have minimum wage for the state and some states that do not have minimum wages established, which means that your state is going to follow federal minimum wage. Minimum wage is important for both exempt and non-exempt employees. And so a non-exempt employee is going to be somebody that you pay by the hour. I'm going to stop sharing actually for a minute, just so I can see if anybody has any questions. So a non-exempt employee would be your hourly wage earners, which I would probably assume is a predominant amount of your employees. Those folks are going to need their rest breaks or snack breaks, whatever they want to call them. They're going to need to have their meal breaks, and then they're also going to be subject to overtime rules. So that if they work over a certain number of hours, you're going to have to pay them time and a half or double pay. And not only that, but the meal breaks and the rest breaks cannot be combined to make a longer meal break. So for example, if an employee comes to you and says, I only get 30 minutes for lunch, can I take my 10 minutes and my 10 minutes and make it a 50-minute lunch break? By law, you are not allowed to do that. And just know that whatever you agree to do with an employee could still come back to bite you if that employee ever decides to terminate employment, or you terminate their employment and they decide that they were not treated fairly. They could come back even in arrears. The other thing about the exempt employees then, for example, in California, you have to meet 3 requirements, we believe, in early childhood in order for somebody to qualify for exempt status. So exempt status means that instead of being paid hourly, they are then paid a salary. The salary has to be twice state minimum wage. So even if the city of Los Angeles, where I am, has a minimum wage that's going to be $15.50 starting in January, I only have to pay twice state minimum wage. So whatever the state minimum wage is, I have to pay twice that amount times 40 hours a week. So if my employee only works 30 hours a week, I still have to pay them times 40 hours a week in order to get to that threshold of the minimum exempt salary. The second requirement is that they have to be in charge of 75% or more of the decision-making in the classroom. So it can't be an assistant, for example, who has no control over the class and they become an exempt employee. And the third requirement is that they have a finial degree. So that has not yet been tested in law. So there is no case law to actually back up what I'm going to tell you right now. But every lawyer that I have worked with, because we are trying to establish this statewide, and so I've been working with a whole bunch of employment lawyers to try and establish the guidelines, is that if I were called into court and somebody asked me what would be the highest degree you need to attain in order to be a master teacher, in the state of California, I would argue that it would be the master teacher permit in early childhood. And so if somebody has that and they're in charge of their class for 75% or more of the decision-making, then if I also pay them twice California state minimum wage times 40 hours a week, they are now exempt. Why is that beneficial to me? For a few reasons. Number one, it's because I don't have to nickel and dime in my budget, meaning that if they put in 6 hours a day or they put in 12 hours a day, they still get their same salary. For them, it's great because if they leave early one day or have to come late one day, I don't have to dock their pay and worry about that in my calculations for my payroll tax. It also establishes then a professional salary as opposed to an hourly wage for somebody who's, maybe feels that they want to be more of a professional feeling person. So let me share my screen again. We're going to continue. I'm actually going to keep it small like this. It'll be easier. That way I can see what's going on. So let's see, how do I go through this? Oh, there we go. Pay transparency. I got that. And then minimum wage. Great. Okay. The Pay Transparency Act has also passed in many states. You'll need to check your state, or I can help you check your state, but there are about a dozen or more states that passed this year. And what that does is it requires businesses with 15 or more employees to include the salary range. So that means that if you were going to go on Indeed or Nextdoor or Facebook or LinkedIn or anywhere else, and you're going to post a job posting, we need a teacher in our childcare center. If you have 15 or more employees, so it doesn't generally apply to home daycare, but if your home daycare has 15 or more, even if they're part-time employees, it will. What that means is that you have to say that the pay range for that job is going to be $15.50 an hour to $18.50 an hour. You have to be transparent in that because they need to know where that pay scale is. And if you have a company of 100 or more employees, which I am in, we are also going to be required to submit pay data and wage history to the state by May of each year or face penalties. Now, for anybody that wants, feel free to either email me or call me. I have amazing interactive pay scales. Benny, I know, also has it. I don't know if you've put it yet on the Playground blog, but I have a great interactive pay scale that's on Excel so that you can, if you move one number, it changes all of your other numbers and calculates everything for you. And it also helps you determine. So for example, if you want to raise somebody's salary by, the max that I'm going to raise my entire staff this year will be 5%. But I have some teachers who I don't think deserve the 5% because they haven't done anything different. They haven't added any professional development. Everything in that pay scale has a percentage. So if they've done everything, they get 5%. If they haven't done any professional development, but they've done everything else, they might get 3%, if you understand that. But I can help explain it to you. And it's pretty simple. The other thing in California is that AB 1949 allows for new bereavement leave policies, and it changes the definition of who would be covered under that. Family care, it's no longer child care, but it's now family care. And it can be by blood, is either related by blood or whose association with the employee is equivalent to a family relationship. And here's an interesting one. SB 731 is going to give some criminals a clean slate. So you know how we all do the fingerprint and the DOJ and every other kind of check. These rules are going to now change a little bit. So yes, so Ms. Kate, this is California. I'm going to go through other states in a second. I'm just going state by state. Anyway, so this is going to take effect in July. For Iowa, Iowa, you now have a really cool new rule, especially for any of your employees who might be older, or if you're older. I'm only 20, but this would apply to me if I were in Iowa. You are now going to be exempt from state tax on retirement income. So really great to put some of your money into IRAs or other things that you will not be taxed on later on. And yes, this is all being recorded. Benny will let you know how it's going to be shared if anybody has lost anything. The other thing in Iowa, if you have kids, or if you're looking for some additional support after school or in the summer or during vacations, by the way, holiday care is a great time to earn extra income for those of you that have smaller centers and you could use a little bit extra money. Most childcare centers are closed the last 2 weeks in December or 1 week in April for Easter, Passover, etc., or in the summer, or even in between seasons. So if you know a 16 or 17-year-old looking for a job, whoa, it has dropped now down to 16 years old in Iowa, which is amazing. And so some of these new laws that went into effect, you guys have new laws that went into effect in July of 2022, but this is something to really think about if you're in Iowa. And then families who use state aid to pay for childcare can make additional private payments to their childcare providers in Iowa. And for any of you that have an adverse reaction or do not want to get COVID vaccines, we do not require COVID vaccinations anymore. You cannot require these anymore in public K through 12 schools. And it's also great for people who want to go get more childcare courses. In New York, not a lot has passed regarding stuff in New York. However, they did pass the law, the same as California, for the wage transparency. Minimum wage is interesting. Also in New York, it goes very different by cities. So the top part of this is the hourly wage changes, and the bottom is the exempt employee salary changes and how much they have to make minimum every single week. Yes, so CCNR Region 2, whoever that is, thank you for explaining that law a little bit more in depth. Vaccinations in New York, by the way, they passed an amendment that you can get up to 4 hours of paid leave time if you need to go get your COVID vaccine, and that is going to be extended through the end of 2023. And then family leave in New York is also going to change a bit. And again, this is all going to be on the recording. And I have 2 more links. Again, I don't want to bore everybody, but if you are in New York, we will send you this slide deck. And here is some more, not necessarily for employees, but here is how New York is making childcare more accessible and more affordable. Let's see. And then Tennessee. In Tennessee, the minimum wage in Tennessee is $7.25. They do not have a state minimum wage. And so for any state that does not have a state minimum wage, it goes by the federal minimum wage, or whichever is higher, by the way. So the last time Tennessee chose to raise its minimum wage was in 2009, when it went from like $5 and something to $7.25. They also don't have overtime law, so the federal laws here in Tennessee apply as well. Pre-K in Tennessee has now been codified as elementary school, thanks to the passage of SB 2583 and Home Bill 1890. So for those of you that have pre-K in Tennessee in your childcare centers, very much like California, you are probably going to want to start adding more classes if you want to increase enrollment, and start adding younger classes, because families are going to be opting into the for free pre-K programs, which will affect your bottom line if you don't proactively start planning for that. Maryland, not too many laws, but again, their minimum wage has gone up, and it's now $12.80 for employers with 14 or fewer employees. So that is going to, $13.25 for employers with 15 or more employees. And then $12.80 for employers with 14 or fewer employees, and there are different rates for different counties. So you'll want to go over that as well. And then Texas, we have minimum vaccine requirements. And so here is the list. If you are in Texas, it is the newly updated vaccination chart for which vaccines are required in up to pre-K. For Virginia, minimum wage is now $13 an hour for those employees. Montana now has $9.95. And this is for businesses with gross annual sales or income of 110,000 or less that are not covered by the federal minimum wage. And you can see here how vastly different it is by state. Washington, D.C. has gone from $15.50 to $16.10 an hour for non-tipped employees. That's everybody except for those that work in like restaurants or other businesses where you get tipped regularly. And then if I don't have anything like Oregon, yours has not changed. Delaware, your minimum wage effective January 1st will be $11.75. In Florida, minimum wage will be $12. In Washington State, your minimum wage for workers is $15.74. But if you hire workers who are 14 or 15, they can be paid 85% of the state minimum wage rate, or $13.38 per hour. And in North Carolina, I don't believe it changed. Those are the minimum wage requirements. Let's see, stop. And I kind of lost you guys. Hold on. Gallery, there we go. Those are most of the laws, and I'm almost hitting 1:30, so I did a pretty good job. But those are most of the laws that have either changed or will change that are going to greatly affect childcare centers. The only other thing that you're going to want to find out from your state, and this is where you've got to do a little bit of digging. There are a lot of grants as a result of the Build Back Better. There are a lot of grants. So in California, for example, you still have time, if you are in California, to apply for the grant for up to $100,000 to make any necessary physical or other changes to your center in order to increase enrollment and capacity. So there is a lot of money left on the table, but those applications are going to be due fairly soon, I think in the next week or two. Again, you're more than welcome to contact me. And then there's also the ESSER funds, but every state now is going to be given these block grants of funds. I know Iowa got a great big grant, and that's part of the reason why Playground is associated with the state of Iowa for childcare management. And then the other thing you should also know, for those of you that are looking for teachers, there is a great program that started about 20 years ago, but many people don't know about this. And that is that in most states, students who are in high school can actually take child development or early childhood education courses free from their local community colleges as part of a dual enrollment program as high school students. And it is one of the best ways that you can actually get new teachers to your program is newly graduated high school students, because then they'll start in your programs with some of those units. So take advantage of some of those programs, because if we don't take advantage of them, the government will think that we no longer need to fund them. And then lastly, the other last thing I can say is if you want to find out what's available in your particular town, city, county, or state, is you want to call up your local elected officials. I do this all the time. So what I do, especially now that Christmas is coming up, here's your job. Simply take a basket, something, anything, you know, a smoked sausage, cheese, and cracker little basket, a fruit basket, walk into your local elected officials area, rep office, and say, hi, my name is, I'm Tamar Andrews. I'm the preschool director at so-and-so preschool. And I just wanted to make you aware that we exist and tell you hello and make a relationship here, etc. And they will write your name down. They keep track of everything that happens. And then what you do is you send a follow-up email and say, I just wanted to say again, it was lovely meeting blank v blank, whoever took your package. And just say it's for the whole office. So it's for the whole office. You're not giving it just to the elected official because that's bribery. And then what you do is you send this email out and you say, hi, I'd like to know any early childhood childcare bills that might be in progress. I'd love to weigh in on them. I'd love to know what's happening. I'd love to have you come to my center and see what's going on. And what happens, the first time I did this, it was fantastic. I was given this huge proclamation by my city councilman honoring me for my work in childcare. He didn't even know me. But for my families, it was kind of like a feather in my cap. It made us stand out. But it also established a relationship so that when they tried to change parking in my street, I was able to actually change that law and make it more conducive to families doing pickup and drop off. But more so, I'll give you an example of something very real. One of our senators, Senator Simitian, wanted to change the kindergarten entry date. And I was actually able to be the consultant on whether or not kindergarten entry should change from December 1st to September 1st in our area or not. And it was very productive. So I'm going to stop there and tell you what I do and see if we have any questions. Contact information, Courtney, for what? Oh, my contact. Oh, it's on the slides, but here, I'll give you it. Tamar Andrews. And it's Tamar Andrews, really easy, at ucla.edu. And I'm going to give you my cell phone number as well here in the chat so you have it. Feel free to reach out anytime. Any other questions? Hopefully this was pretty straightforward. But the grants is also really where you guys want to be at. Maybe Benny will do one just on grants. It does cost money. I will tell you this, it does cost money to subscribe to some of these grant programs. So I subscribe to something called California Grant Watch. It does cost money, so I'm more than happy for anybody in California to call me up and I can Zoom you and share my screen. But right now there are 141 active open grants in California. And my Grant Watch subscription works for any state. I just don't subscribe to the other states, but I can ask for it at any time. So if you want, even now, because we have some time, if you tell me a state you're in, I can tell you what's in there. I don't know if anybody wants to.
Iowa, Virginia.
Oh, here.
We got plenty.
I'm getting, everybody wants to know. Okay, so it's probably going to take me way too long. But let's see, let me see, Virginia, hold on. Let me go into Virginia. Oh, I have to log in again. Hold on one second, log in. Give me one sec. Okay, so let's see, my account.
While you're getting that pulled up, I want to quickly share my screen. I'd love to get a quick poll
Sure.
on the guests here. We're thinking about our next event for Playground for our community. What topic is more interesting to you guys? Maximizing your childcare's bottom line, or 5 things that make my life as a director easier? You just send A or B to the group, to the chat, and we will plan it from there.
Yeah.
If there's another topic that's in mind, please feel free to send it. But these are the 2 we were thinking about for our next event.
So let me just give you, I'm going to give you an example though, really fast for Virginia, what I found, just really fast. So there's grants right now that's open to Virginia nonprofits, agencies, faith-based organizations, or anything else that will provide for out-of-school enrichment programs. So it's intended to improve the outcome for students at schools that are high poverty or low performing. And for example, if you're a child care center and you've got nothing going on from 3, 4, 5 o'clock on, you could actually hire another set of staff to come in and use your space in the afternoons for after school enrichment programs. And the state of Virginia will pay you for it. And I missed it. What are we doing, A or B? I'm so sorry.
I was doing a poll on the events, but if you want to share your screen and show what that
I can show, yep, share
that
screen.
Grant Watch looks
Here.
like, that'd be awesome.
There you go, share screen. So I did Virginia childcare. There's search results for 256. So for Virginia, here you go. Here on farms to address food insecurity. And by the way, if you need help writing grants, we can also probably do a grant writing one, which would also be great. I don't know why it says tourism, because that has nothing to do with childcare. Grants to USA teachers in multiple states for academic projects. Oh, wow. Some of these do not seem to apply to childcare. You gotta have to kind of go through some of these, but that's okay.
How else do you find, what government changes are happening, what grants are available?
So the government changes, if you send people the slide deck, I put the links in there. I just didn't want to bother everybody with everything going on in individual states. But the links in my slide deck will actually, you'll click on your state and you'll see everything from your state.
Great. I will be sending out those slides definitely to everyone in this event.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Also with some notes
Perfect.
that I took on my own.
Yeah. And my information's on that slide deck as well for anybody that wants. Let's see, I'm going to do Florida childcare. I'm just going to see what comes up. Oh, wow. Florida has, well, 240 came up. I'm going to assume that about a quarter of those might be good.
Could you share your screen and that way we could all take a look and see?
Oh, sorry. Yes. Sorry. I'm looking. I'm sitting here enjoying it. So here's Florida. Oh, so look, here's a great one. Grants to Florida nonprofit organizations in eligible locations for summer camp programs that benefit children and families from low-income populations. And it's intended to provide educational opportunities during the months between school year. So that could be kind of cool. If you are not a nonprofit, you could always team up with a nonprofit. Here is a grant to support local Jewish children and seniors. So if you have Jewish kids, enhance the quality of life for residents in eligible counties, etc. So again, you have to go through these and you have to know how to, yeah, Tracy wants to know, we're trying to figure out what a master teacher permit would be in California. So Tracy, I'm going to give you a link. Let me give you the link for that. Give me 1 second and I'll give it to you. I'm actually going to give you the actual link, make it easier. Command C, Command V. So Tracy, if you go to that link that I just put from CSU Chico, that is the California Child Development Permit Matrix. So if you were to work in the state of California in any publicly funded childcare program, or Head Starts, lead teachers would have to have a master teacher permit. So you'll see all the requirements on there for that. Alethea wants to know, what is the website you're searching? Alethea, are you asking about the grants? Was that the question? I don't know which question you were asking related to.
I think it was on the grants.
Was it on the grants? So that is, there is something called, I'll put the link in. There you go. It's grantwatch.org. And grantwatch.org is a clearinghouse. Oh, sorry, .com. Oh, my bad. Let me put it in again. My bad, .com. Grantwatch.com. And that is a website. You have to pay for it. So Tracy, Tracy, you're actually asking a great question. If you don't want to, you don't have to demand that, but what if you are taken to court? There have been many class action lawsuits already filed up until the Supreme Court by child care workers who claimed that they were paid a salary, but should not have been designated as exempt employees. So if you were to be taken to court and somebody were to argue, you should have paid me hourly because I worked too many hours, and as such, you didn't accommodate me for double pay or, you know, whatever. And if you want, I can go into that a little bit more. You would lose. Even if the employee ended up getting more than they should have if they had been hourly employees or non-exempt employees, the fact that you treated them as a salaried employee without meeting the requirements of a salaried employee would put you in jeopardy of being fined and or cited, and you'd have to pay a lot of money. So the requirement to be a salaried employee is that you have to meet those 3 requirements. If you don't meet those 3 requirements, then you are going to be in trouble, whether you work in public or not. In public, however, they are obligated to have permits. They're not obligated to pay you as an exempt employee. They're simply obligated to make you a permitted lead teacher. The difference is that if you're in a private program and you want to make them salaried, they have to meet those 3 requirements. I hope that kind of explained it. Any other? So if nobody has any questions, I'll just keep talking. So the thing about the hourly employee, if you have hourly teachers and you tell them that they need to do, let's say, lesson plans, or they need to do family newsletters, and they don't have enough time to do those at school, and then they do it at home, by law across all 50 states and territories, you have to pay them for the time that they worked at home. If a parent calls them just to find out about a bite or an owie, and they call them at home, and it's a 15-minute call, those teachers have to be paid for those 15-minute phone calls at home if they are non-exempt or hourly employees. If they are exempt employees and salaried, you would not have to pay them for any of that. I hope that's clear.
Wonderful. Are there any other questions we have for Dr. Tamara Andrews? And if you like the session, you know, send a little comment in the chat. We can do plenty more like this. It seems like there's plenty of interest in the government side of childcare.
Did my video go out?
Yeah, it did. If you click stop video and start again, it should come back.
Oh, stop video and start again. Oh,
Yep.
there we go. Okay. That was so weird. I'm still here. So one of the things, definitely would like more. Oh, sure. You know what? If you even put in the chat box what you'd like to have webinars on, let me know. I'm a preschool director. I'm also, I'm the head of a department that has a BA, master's, and doctorate in early childhood education. And one of the classes I've been teaching forever is the administration class. That's why I'm very big on the administration part of this. I don't think anybody should say that they go into early childhood just because they love it. I think we should be able to say we go into it also because we want to make money. And it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. So I am all about how to make more money in this business. And I know Benny and I are working on something else about, for example, how we make more money here after hours. Doing programs on the weekends and other kinds of pop-up things. Yes, the money-making side, yes.
The money-making side of childcare, wonderful.
Yeah,
Okay.
I will tell you the reason why I love playgrounds so much. So I have a school, at one point we had 350 kids, and we had about 5 or 6 people just in the office. I had one who I called the keeper of all holy documents. And her job every day was just to keep track of the kids' files. And now that I have Playground, that position is no longer necessary. And I put that money directly into the teacher salary line. There actually isn't a teacher shortage in this country. I want you all to know that. There is no teacher shortage. There is a shortage of pay available for teachers, because if you pay people enough money, they will do the job. We just don't have enough money in childcare to keep paying what we want to pay and what people deserve. The other problem also, and I'm going to be very gung-ho about this. I went today, I did a consultation at another school just this morning, and the woman was in tears yesterday that she just doesn't know what's wrong. She has so many kids that have special needs in her class. And I went to sit in her class and there were no special needs. The teacher, who had the minimal education, did not know how to modify activities, her voice, what she was doing in order to make the class function much more appropriately. And just a few little tweaks here and there by the end of the 2 hours, she was like, oh my God, this was amazing. Yesterday I was at another school as well. And that one, she was crying because she didn't know how to tell a parent that the child had special needs. And, you know, sometimes we're going to have kids who don't belong in our centers. It's not that we need to kick them out. It's how we do it. It's how we welcome families in. The most important thing you have is your reputation. And if your reputation is good, you'll always have a waiting list, like we are fortunate enough to have. Do you have access to information to expand childcare? I'm home-based. I want to add a room to my home. Oh, wow. Catherine, what state are you in? Catherine Hardin. You're in Iowa. So yes, I would, if you want, I am more than happy to do something. You have my contact information. Feel free to reach out. And the other thing I would love to do is a FaceTime just to see what your facility looks like. But yes, happy to help you.
And I will be sending Tamara's information again, just so we can make sure everyone's getting that.
There you
Tamara's
go.
a
Yep.
great resource. As you can see, she's highly knowledgeable.
Yeah. The other thing too that I will help anybody do, I also help my sister. I will help you transition from home-based to commercial site. My sister ran a very successful home-based daycare for years. And she really wanted to buy, I know this is going to sound crazy. She really wanted to buy some nicer things for herself. And I said, well, the bigger the school, the more the money. So I helped her expand into a facility. And just a few months ago, she now bought her second preschool. Each one is about 200 students. So she's making some money now. And it was in complete relation to the reputation she had built as the owner of this childcare center. And she will also help anybody. Here, I'll actually put, for anybody that wants to see what her childcare centers look like, that is her website. The name of her childcare centers is Segre, because her kids' names are Sebastian and Grayson. So she now has Segre and Segre at the Oaks, which are probably about an hour and a half away from each other here in California. But she makes a lot of money and she's really good. And she started off in a 1-bedroom, 2nd floor apartment, because that's all she could afford at the time. And now she's one of the most highly regarded childcare centers in our area. So it's a family business, folks. My mom's also a retired preschool teacher. But happy to help anybody. I'm going to say I'm done for the day unless anybody has any questions, but I'll hang out with Benny here while he does a little demo for anybody that wants.
Great. Thank you very much, Tamara. And yeah, as you said, we're going to hop into a quick demo about Playground for those of you who might not know exactly what Playground looks like and what we do. Like Tamara said, our goal is to make your life as an admin easier, reduce the overhead, reduce the administrative work. And we do that with really smart software. So as an admin, you guys will be dealing with our admin interface, which is on the website. We also have apps and tablet apps, but you can see everything that's going on in your center from a glimpse. You can see how many students you have signed in, how many are active, how many are signed out. You can go into individual student profiles, see their personal information, their parent information. You can check out their payment history. You know, how much have you charged them? How much have they paid to you? You can check out their individual payment plans per month. You know, you can see this was paid by PayPal, this was paid on a check, all of these great insights that you might not have if you're just working on paper. You can also check out future charges you're going to apply, how much is currently processing, how much has not yet been posted onto their account. Same thing with paperwork. You can see all the paperwork that you've put onto the student's profile. For example, a doctor note or a media waiver, anything that you need your families to fill out, you'll have it in one place, and you can see those completed documents directly in Playground as well. One thing we do really nicely is we support electronic signatures directly onto the documents. So you can sign a document, have your family sign it, and it stays on Playground with that signature. You can also have individual family feeds. So if you want, you can post an announcement, for example, onto Nora Williams's family feed. You can send them a attachment, a photo, anything you might want. Same thing with assessments, which you guys likely do in your centers, just assessing development. You can add these assessments into their accounts, put any observations you might have. The families can see this, the admins can see this, the teachers are able to input this. All that useful stuff. You can set this individual student's schedule. You can check out all their immunizations, have specific settings for the student, and that's just for the students. We do the same thing for the staff. You can track all your staff through Playground. You can check out their overview, their individual hours. So when they clocked in, when they clocked out, you can edit those, add a break, for example, anything you might need to change with your staff. You can also add staff training times. So say your staff spent an hour at a conference or 2 days at a conference, you can add that in here and track it for your records. You can set a custom schedule for your staff, have all their paperwork here as well. Highly customizable. Same thing with billing. At Playground, you're able to see all your billing going on in your center as a whole, all your students in one place, how much you've charged them, how much has been paid, how much is yet to be paid, for example. You can even see how much is overdue. So this just gives you some really good insights into the financials of your center. And one really cool thing you guys are going to see here that is not live yet for Playground, but we're about to push this out, is expense tracking. So you're able to basically issue spend cards for your staff, where your staff are able to go buy materials, go buy supplies for their center, and you'll be able to see exactly what they're buying. For example, they bought at Ralph's Food Center, or they bought something at Apple. All these spendings, you as an admin can see a complete overview, and you'll be able to compare it to previous months. You can issue new cards for a staff member. It's as easy. I'll just do it with you guys. It's very simple. Let's issue a virtual card, and I'll call it Benny's card. And this will be for Josh. And now I'm issuing that card. I'm going to fill this out. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to put this in New York, where I'm at. I'm going to put New York. And I'm going to just put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now this staff member has a credit card, or a spend card, sorry, and they're able to use this spend card to go buy any materials, any supplies they may need at your center. So this is a new feature to be on the lookout. We're always pumping out new features. We're always making new things. These are all coming from requests from you guys, the admins. You can also check out all the paperwork in your center. You can create paperwork. So say you have a giant stack of paperwork your families need to fill out when they're enrolling in your center. You can upload that all into Playground, make it into fillable PDFs, and we can look at one, for example. Let's look at this. Well, the notification of parents' rights. And you can add text fields, have these automatically be linked to the family's account. So their name, address, phone number, all that stuff will be automatically populated into all their forms. You can even have them sign off the form directly. And you can see a little preview of what that looks like for the family. The parent will see this. They'll come, put their name, they'll put their address, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They'll put their phone number, and they'll sign off. They'll click submit. And now they're going to see a success screen. And now you as an admin will see they submitted that document. It's all on their profile, everything in one place. You have chat as an admin. You can see all the chats that are going on in your center. You can hop into any chat just to make sure that if something's not going how you like, you can, intervene, make it right, make sure everything's going according to plan. You can start new chats with group chat with a whole class, with a parent. I'll start a group chat, let's say with Josh. He's the guardian of one of our students. And I'm going to send him a message. Hello, Josh. I can add a photo, anything I want to add here. And then another great thing we have is enrollment. So say you need to enroll new students to your family, to your summer program. You can make an enrollment listing, set up the schedule, set up the billing details, and you can send a link out and families will apply to this program. You can go in, see their individual application, all that great stuff, and then you can move them through the pipeline. So now the student applied, I'm putting them into the wait list. And once, maybe I don't want to accept this one. I want to put them into rejected. I want to accept this one. I'm going to put them into accepted. So that is all able to happen in Playground. You can set up a calendar for your center. So say, this is the next week at my center. We have open house this week. We have a cleanup happening this day. Your parents are able to see all of this information on their own, and you can just share this with your whole community. The idea is everything you need in one place. And then you have a feed for your whole center. So say I want to send out a happy holidays announcement. I can schedule this announcement. I'm going to send it out to all my students and all my staff. Or maybe I just want to send it to the families of these 3 classrooms. And I'm going to go schedule this post to be sent out on the 24th at 1 p.m. I'm scheduling that post, scheduled, and now that post is going to go out automatically on its own on the 24th. I don't have to worry about it anymore. I can schedule posts for the following 5 years if I'd like, and that just takes away a lot of headaches from you as an admin. And those are just a few of the things we do. We also have an app that parents are able to see live updates of their students, photos, chat with the staff, chat with the admins, get any clarifications they want, submit documents, submit payments online. Everything is very integrated and all is tied together into the accounts. So, like I showed you before, you can go into the student, see what has been paid, what has not been paid. All their documents have been filled out, any questions you might have, and you can export all of this. And say you want to know a report, for example, on attendance for the past month. I can go in and say, I want to know what attendance has looked like since November 15th to December 15th. I'm going to generate this report. And now I'm going to have all the signatures, all the students, what time they came, what time they were left, who checked them in and out. I can print this, email it to myself, export this for licensing, anything you may need. And you can even make custom reports, document reports, contact reports, payments, everything is supported. And if we don't support it, we'll happily make it happen for your center. So that's just a brief overview of Playground. If you want to learn more, and you're not a customer, we're happy to set up a demo with you. Just shoot a chat here and I will get that going. But appreciate you guys all joining in. Hope you guys got some value from this session, and there will be plenty more. Just be on the lookout. I'm sending out an email with the recording, the notes, and everything else. So thank you for joining. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Tamar.
There you go. You muted everybody. I wanted to add, the best feature of Playground is that you guys answer the phone within 30 seconds.
Yes, we do.
That is the best part of everything, because every other app that we've tried before you guys would get back to us in a few days, and I didn't want to wait a few days for tech support.
Yeah, we are the support. Like Tamar said, I will be answering the phone for you. My coworkers here will be answering the phone for you. We're really quick. 30 seconds is our typical response time, and we're happy to hop on a phone call, fix your problems within a couple minutes, hopefully, if not hours maximum. Our goal is to make your life easier. Any way we can do that, we're working towards it.
Thank you, everybody. Happy holidays if I don't talk to you or see you, but hope you all enjoy a happy rest of December. Happy holidays, and go make a lot of money.
Thank you, Tamar. Thank you for joining.